Again, going back to your question about being a business owner, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Learn how the world works. Don't rely on technology, because I'll tell you right now, I can go 20 minutes north of here and I don't have service. So it's not always going to be there. And you have to be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Wise. Navigating the chaotic waters of marketing can be murky and riddled with not so helpful paywalls and fancy speak. We all deserve better, and we should expect better. Since 2010, I've been challenging the marketing and advertising industries, questioning the true impact of KPIs, paid social media ads, and terms like creative content creation and sustainable growth. Let's unearth the way that things have been done. Let's talk about marketing and business growth in a no-nonsense way. In each episode, I'll give you tips and tools you can start using as soon as the episode is done. Let's wise up.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Wise Up. I'm Chelsea Wise, and I'm joined today by a very special guest. His name is Ben Wood. He's the Business Development Specialist with Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center. We met at the Small Business Development Center's Small Business Fair in April, May. It's been a while. And I just loved your energy, Ben. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Why don't you come on this podcast? And you were like, I've never been on a podcast before. And I'm like, great. This is a perfect place to start. My listeners are very welcoming. Welcome to the Wise Up podcast. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Chelsea. It's a pleasure being here.
If you could get us started and explain to the wonderful folks in their car, at home, cleaning their house, walking their dog, tell me what a business development specialist does. What does that mean?
Well, in simple terms, a business development specialist is someone that goes out and we help support businesses in any way necessary. Specifically, my job is to support the manufacturing community with their training needs. I've never closed the door on anybody. I'll help anybody across any industry because a lot of the trainings that we promote and sell they can be used in any industry.
And how would you describe the work that you do to an alien? They just got here. They're like, where do I start? You have a job. What does that mean?
That is a very good question because I know very little about aliens. So number one, do they speak English? Can I communicate? No, I'm kidding.
I know, right? Well, I like this question because it gets people out of the minutia of what they actually do. And I started a workshop with this question. And then I said, be ambiguous about it. Like, I am somebody that helps other people that own businesses talk about what they do to other people. And people are like, what does that even mean? But it provokes additional questions on that.
It's a great question because what it does is it forces you to simplify and make things, so people can understand. So how I would explain my job to an alien or what I do as a business development specialist is my job is to make friends. Via that friendship, I end up being a liaison between a problem and a solution. So I am a problem solver. I am someone that can help you move forward in whatever situation you are in. I'm a connector. I'm a trusted advisor. Any other, descriptors that you can think of that go with that. But that's truly what I do on a daily basis. My job is not to go out and make as much money as I can. My job and what I love to do is to help people solve problems. If there is a demand or a need that a company has, it is my job to find you a solution, and a credible solution, and something that's going to be impactful, not in the short term, but also in the long term.
How long have you been doing the problem solving?
I would say I've been problem solving my whole life. I've been doing it with a certain skill set with MMTC, the Michigan Manufacturing Technology
Center. The problems probably change and the solutions probably change.
100%. So I've been in this current role for just over 8 years now.
Awesome. Talk a little bit about how these problems are changing. I know I certainly work with individuals, business owners, clients, whatever name you want to give them, that their problem typically is, we're here and we want to be here. And I help pull apart some complexities around what it means to market your business, the things that could get in the way. So throwing tons of money into Google Ads and not seeing return, well, you need to back up and build a strategy first. So like helping them decode a lot of these things. What kind of problems challenges, puzzles do you like to solve or have you solved for, what would you say, clients?
Clients. Yeah. Personally, my favorite problems, if you will, are personal problems. I love people. I love dealing with people. I like to consider myself as an influencer, as someone that will take time to understand what the problem is or what that person or group's concern is. I love those personal problems. That's what I would prefer. But I can tell you, and you know this, the problems that you deal with and I deal with on a regular basis are much bigger than that. Especially with the tech boom that we're all seeing. It's more cybersecurity problems that we have now. We still have, I wouldn't say the problems have changed. I would say the problems have intensified. The personnel problems are still there, but now it's compounded with, well, if I send an email, how do I know that's going to be securely delivered to where I want it to go? Or if I'm collecting data, how do I know that somebody else is not viewing or modifying that data? So that's the very high level answer to that question. But again, it's anything in between there as well. So process improvements, quality system updates, the problems go on and on, or the concerns go on and on.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that I'm seeing in the marketing space and messaging is utilizing AI as a tool to come alongside practices, not letting it be a replacement. But I find that there's so much noise, at least in this arena, that it's easy to get spun up and it's easy to feel very anxious and lose sight of the values that you started your business on, or you wanted to put into your work, because of how much chaos and noise there is in marketing. And I'm finding a lot of my work, same as you, is the personal side. I tell people 80% of what I do is more working with people and helping their mindsets and communication. And 20% is really like making the social media posts and blog posts and all of that. That's easy stuff. The issue comes in of getting back to square one and saying, why did you even take this job? What do you care about this company? Why does this company even exist? And asking why, until almost to an uncomfortable level, because I don't think it's natural for us to want to dig that deep all the time. It's a very conscious decision to want to go that deep. But when you do, and this is a little spacey, new agey, but you really do feel it in your body, like in your heart or whatever, like that's it. That's why I'm here. And it just kind of takes over. And then we lean hard into that. How would you say why would you say your line of work is necessary?
Well, I think it provides a lot of relief and comfort for folks. And I think the other piece of that is to educate and inform them. You don't know what you don't know. So let's pick on AI a little bit.
Yeah.
ChatGPT. Okay. People have been on there. People are enticed by it. They're enamored by it. They're going, oh my goodness, what is this new tool and how cool is it?
How much time it can save me.
Well,
I can just type it in, and I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, there is, no matter what you're doing in life, there's pros and cons to, I would say, everything. There's advantages and disadvantages to technology. And for me personally, I think you mentioned it earlier, just a couple minutes ago, to bring technology and use it as a tool to support your travel or your path, or to make your path clearer or easier, that's one thing. To be completely dependent on it is another. I think using it in a proper manner, like anything else, everything in moderation is okay, right? That's what we tell everybody. That's what our doctors say. You can eat cake, just don't eat it every day. Don't depend on that.
You can. But here's what's going to happen if you do this. And then you're going to have a whole nother world of problems that you have. So if you want to use AI, Chat GPT to write all of your stuff for you, you can. Freedom of choice. But if you do that, you're going to see people not connect with your content because it's not human, or connect with you or want to do deals with you or foster a relationship with you, because we do have that I want to connect with another human being. I want to know that they care.
And I would say that's why, my line of work is necessary. Mm-hmm. How often do you call to get a prescription or whatever it is, and you're talking to a robot and you're just like, okay, I just have one question. I just need an answer. Now, there's technology out there that can support that kind of behavior from an end user. I'm a true believer that God put everybody on this earth for a reason, and everybody has a purpose, and everybody has a skill set. And there's something about that relationship piece and the building that trust, the companionship, doing business together, doing life together, whatever that is, and to rely completely on AI or Chat GTP, it is. You will be your website, your terminology, everything's going to be robotic, so to speak. And people won't buy that. And more importantly, when you're depending on those resources to be successful, those resources are not always going to be there. And when you get in a real life situation, failure is almost imminent because you won't be able to explain what's happening. So use it as a tool in an appropriate manner. And I think it adds a ton of benefit. There's no doubt that technology has helped in every industry across the board. I'm a supporter of technology, don't get me wrong, but to remove a personal relationship, I think is very, very dangerous for individuals or businesses to do.
As a tangible example, I used AI to help with the very beginning stages of ideation. So if I'm brainstorming blog post ideas for Tact or even for a client, I will type in and just like a prompt into Chat GPT, fully expecting that I will need to audit it and edit it. But it takes away a lot of that brain because we have a battery at the beginning of the day, which is why you read so many studies that say do your most challenging things in the morning, try to work out in the morning, because as the day goes on, the reserve is lower. So our ability to make decisions diminishes. That's why people say it's so hard to eat healthy at dinner time. Well, because you're decision fatigued. So I remove that brain power of ideation in the very beginning so I can get really into it and use those ideas and be like, but how does this fit? How does this do this? How can we make this work? And then I'm challenging my brain in a new arena, and I feel like I'm living more into my strengths. And I encourage my team members and other individuals to do that too. It's a tool. And back to your point about relationships, because we really do want to get back to, does this person, are they capable of understanding where I'm coming from? If I can't get that in the subtext of their messaging, in their emails, text messages, whatever, I'm not sure I have a trust in them because I can't see where they would understand where I'm coming from, and I can't really figure them out either. And that's why I push so hard in the stripping everything back and getting back to ethos, morals, values, the why behind the business. I want to switch over to quality of service a little bit in a lot of arenas. And I think the pandemic had a big impact on this. Your service industry, relationship industry, how have you seen it change over the last 20, 10, 5 years?
I mean, as you know, and as the listeners know, it's changed immensely. I mean, growing up, I'm 42 years old. So growing up, we had to stand up to turn the dial on our TV to change the channel or to watch a different cartoon. But as, later in life, as things progressed and we got into high school, I guess prior to high school, we ended up getting remotes for our TV and we were blown away. And then all of a sudden cell phones come out. All my friends have them. So, you go back to the late 90s when I graduated high school, I remember the days of the Nextel Motorola two-way.
Oh my gosh.
And I'll tell you, I miss that technology.
That was so cool.
It was the greatest thing ever. I just wanted him to take away that stupid, the alert button drove me nuts when somebody would alert you nonstop and it sounded like a smoke alarm or something. Oh, drive me crazy.
Yeah.
But so I think about that and I say, middle school, if I wanted to go somewhere, if I wanted to talk to a friend, I could call them, right? But what if their mom or dad was on the phone? The phone's busy, unless you were rich and you had call waiting. So I remember getting on my bike and riding from point A to point B just to say, what's up, dude? It Want to hang out?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Okay. See you later.
More effort was made to get to that other individual to just connect.
Yeah. And then high school, two-way. And it was like, this is beautiful. I have my own phone line. I mean, everyone had their own personal phone line. So now
your bike ride was minimized to a button push.
Yeah. So, and that's a great way to put it. Think about that. Think about an hour-long journey is now one push of a button, and we'd have a quick answer. So therefore I could make a quicker decision. Well, so-and-so can't hang out. So now I'm going to two-way somebody else. So 20 years ago, I'd say the thing that would really stick out to me the most is how fast information started traveling. And then obviously as time has progressed, moving up to 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever, it's how we use
the amount of effort has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
It's incredible. I mean, and it's we get information so fast. So I'd say within the last 10 years, it's watching individuals in my community, in the surrounding community, and businesses say, hey, we have information. How do we use this? What can we do with this information? And again, you talk about military. Military has been using information forever, just like they had the intranet before we had the internet. They had, so they're a little farther along. But to us as consumers, it's like, wow, this is kind of neat. Now, what do we do with it? And then break it down to your point. We are so coddled in this country. It's almost disgusting because we don't have to do anything. Chelsea, I can sit right here, right now.
I'm in another state talking to you.
I can order my groceries and have them. I don't even need to leave my house. If I feel ill, I can get online and I can do a virtual call with my doctor. Anything I want can be brought to me. I don't even have to leave.
So my brain's going two different places. The first one being like I'm having an alert bell. Like I don't even know if our brains are evolved enough to understand that because we're able to intake so much information. That's why you see apps now about like locking your phone for you, turning this $1,000 device into essentially a flip phone, and you're paying people to do that for you because we're so bombarded with information. And I think I want to make a quick note to the audience here about like, don't forget that. Don't be contributing to the noise and the just blah of information out there. Like make sure it's very intentional. And the second one, the amount of effort here, and it's no wonder that we're starved for more connection than ever because things happen so quickly. There was more sacrifice for reward. There was more friction to see something happen. Your bike ride to go see your friend. You had to put in the energy, maybe some sweat tax a little bit to go see your friend and say hi and connect. Now it's a text, a Zoom call, it's a whatever. So I think we're seeing a shift in the quality of service because of all of this technology. We don't have to put as much into it and we expect so much back. So people are getting frustrated of like, oh, the service here is just terrible, or like, it's just not what it used to be, or I can't get anybody on the phone to answer my question. Well, because we're told start with tech first, connection second. And I'm on this like fire path to have people swap those things.
I'm the guy that thinks the opposite. So again, the way I operate, and your listeners might be blown away by this. Everybody I tell this to, they don't believe me. To this day, I have never bought anything online, ever. And I have no intentions of doing that. Ben, to this day, I get up every morning anywhere between 4:15 in the morning and let's say 7, depending on if I want to play basketball or do my morning routine. I get up and I balance my checkbook with a register. I track all of, that's who I am.
Do you even order ahead on an app? Like, example, Starbucks has an order ahead and then you can pick it up.
Oh, no, never.
No,
I don't even know what that is.
Okay.
The way I think about this is now I have a wife that I wouldn't say she's techie, but yes, she's orders things from Amazon all the time. I've never ordered anything from Amazon ever. I have her do it for me, but what does that do? So think about this. Think about what I'm saying. If you have a relationship, if you know people, there's technology out there. If you know people that use it and you're not the one that says, oh, I gotta be the kingpin of this. I got to understand everything about it. I want everybody to come to me, whatever, or I want to know everything I can about it. It forces you to go out and build a relationship with someone that knows how to do that. And when you build a relationship with someone, you're building confidence in them. You're increasing your network. You're being more productive. It's stressful for me when I want something and I can't get it because I don't know how to do it. but then I make a friend or I have my beautiful wife that can help me. And it forces us to talk. It forces us to interact because technology is pulling that away. So I look at it from this really weird lens. I always tell people I have a very simple mind and a very small brain. So I think very simply. I use the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. And again, we're all here, we're all put on this earth for a reason. And I love to find the value of each person that I talk to. What is it that this person's here for? What are they good at? What's their skill set? And how can I utilize them in my life so it benefits both of us? Again, technology's, it's crazy, but I think it's also impacted our health immensely, not only our mental health, but our physical health. I mean,
that is a great segue into my next question.
Go ahead.
How do you take care of yourself?
I'm over the 40 mark now. So they say after 40, everything falls apart. There's truth to that. So,
the engine light comes on.
it does. And so far, nothing severe has happened. So that's good. But 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I will get up and I'll play basketball from 5 to 6:30 in the morning. If the check engine light's not on. Right now it's on. I have a sore knee, so I haven't played in about a week. But then, I go to the local gym. And I have a routine there that I will lift weights on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do all cardio. So I'll walk on a treadmill. I do a lot of like red light therapy. They call it vibration therapy to keep your nerves alive and things like that. So I spend a lot of time in the gym. I try to be active. I have a family. So we fish, we go to sporting events, we travel, but you have to make time for yourself. And, I guess when in doing that thing, I will say that technology's been very helpful when it comes to taking care of myself, because I could be on a treadmill and do a phone call and no one would ever know it. Or I could be in a meeting or whatever. And I've never done that. They'd probably know it because I'd be panting, but
I know.
You know what I mean?
You would know.
I could be in a car traveling or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can do those things. So
yeah,
it's again, I don't depend on it, but if it's available and it's a resource that's going to make my life easier, because you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself and do the things that make you happy. So, taking care of myself is just, I make time every day to do that.
It's lovely to hear a man in his 40s talk about prioritizing taking care of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think this is my opinion that men tend to have a harder time admitting or acquiescing to the degradation of their bodies, and then pouring back into themselves. I think they hear a lot of romanticized language around self-care and are maybe turned off by that, but then it's going back. It's like, it doesn't mean facials and pedicure. I mean, it can if that's your thing,
right.
But it can also mean making sure you're taking the right vitamins and supplements or getting on a medication that'll help improve your quality of life. It is going to your dentist, doctor appointments, stretching, foam rolling, like doing these things that don't need to be overthought, but little acts of care for yourself certainly add up. I know one thing that I've really loved is massages do really great things for anxiety and stress. For some reason, I have a lot of that as a small business.
One of my favorite sports.
That's so weird.
I love massages. We have a great place here, a local place that is.
And not just this cat, light touch, I request the very deep tissue. Like get in there.
Get in there and get it done. Yes.
There's stuff from my teens that I need to get out in there and go for it.
Wow. You're going way back.
That went bad. I don't know. Yeah. If you had advice for the business owner, the client that just feels at odds with the state of technology, that feels at odds with the state of, are just feeling like this need to keep up, what would be your advice? As somebody who lives, I would say, in today's terms, off the grid. You don't order anything online. That's wild. Or pre-order anything.
Yeah.
What type of advice would you give them? And I know that's a big question.
I don't get intimidated by it. So that's the first piece. Don't get scared by it. God gave you a brain, use it. Use your brain to be successful. And when I get stressed or when I think I can't do this, I go, 200 years ago, people were doing this and they did just fine. And you think about it. Think again, here we are coddled. and I'm going to go on a little rabbit trail and I'll come right back. But you think about childbirth. How many options do you have as a mother when you go into the hospital? You can get epidurals, you can do C-sections, you can do whatever. 200 years ago, these people were in a field. They made it. So if you're stressed, if you're a new business owner, somebody before you has already been down this road, it's doable. Tell yourself it's doable. We can do this. We always haven't had ChatGPT.
And had far less resources, and they figured it out.
And you can still do it. And I think to me personally, I take a lot of pride in doing it without those resources, because then I feel like it's me. It's you own it. So number one, don't get intimidated. Number two, use your resources as necessary. But three, and I think probably the most important thing to me, make yourself known. Get to know people, be social, because the people, it's not who you are, it's who you know that's going to make you successful in life.
But Ben, I'm an introvert and it's so hard to meet people. What's the recipe?
I don't want to get really blunt here, but typically, I have a lot of people say that to me.
This is Wise Up. This is,
well, I mean, how bad do you want it? If you're stuck in an elevator with somebody and the building's burning down, are you going to say, I'm an introvert, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know how to get out of here? No, you want to get out of there. You're going to change your ways. So it's really dependent on you. You can use any excuse you want. I tell my kids, anybody can make an excuse. And I make them too. Believe me, I do. Anybody can make excuse. But when you don't, you're the one that sticks out. At least try. Try to make it work.
I remember a mentor sharing the same advice with me in my early 20s. And yet again, when I started my business, and I have always been somebody who struggled with anxiety, And I'm just always kind of clenched, like always thinking 5 steps, 10 steps down the road. My loving boyfriend likes to say building bridges.
Yeah.
And rather than say, oh, this is just so hard or overwhelming for me. Prior to this podcast, we were talking about, I'm in St. Louis right now and the urge and being claustrophobic or whatever, but I can use, like, sometimes you just kind of grit and get through it because it's worth it. And the other times you can view those things as superpowers. So rather than letting my anxiety have a crippling effect on me, viewing it as like, it makes me really good at strategy because I'm able to see things forecast out. I'm able to go, how are all of these things coming together? I'm thinking I'm great at crisis management because I've probably already thought about all of the ways that this could go south. But people need that because not everybody has that skill set. So I would tag along your third point and say, how can you make these excuses? How can you reframe them into being superpowers?
Yeah, and that's a great way to put it.
Or power-ups in this video game of life.
And I'll tell you, you can use weaknesses and use them to add a lot of value to your conversation in your life, what people consider weaknesses. And being an introvert is, I laugh at a lot of this stuff because, again, when you label somebody or they label themselves, typically an introvert's going to be like, hey, I guess through my experience,
I am actually an introvert.
They're kind of, and I never would have guessed that, but you're introverted in different areas of your life. If I'm talking to you right now, you are not an introvert. I would never label that as you, or label you as that. But maybe in another part of your life that I'm not familiar with, you are. Or when it comes to certain social situations or whatever it is. And it's understanding who you are and how you can use that to your advantage.
Not using I can't, but like, hey, I'm really great in small groups and one-on-ones. So I'm going to maximize that and maybe not go to those large 200, 500 person networking events because those are super overwhelming for me. Or go to them and try and find 2 people and just dive deep in with those 2 people.
I mean, in getting to know them, I work with introverts and they're some of the smartest people that I've ever met. And they're self-identified introverts. I haven't labeled them. I don't believe in labeling people.
Introverts really like to be like,
yeah, I'm introverted. So but I think, okay, you're introverted, but there's other people out there that are introverts. So what happens when you get 2 introverts in the same room?
Is it
like, I want to see this. This is kind of like, everyone gets excited about midget wrestling or dwarf wrestling or whatever.
Oh, yeah. So
it's kind of exciting. They're like, we got to see this. And you see, a dwarf flying through the air, a small person flying through the air. When you get 2 introverts in a room, how do they work together? What does that look like? And then I try to learn from that.
Do they not work?
Again, going back to your question about being a business owner, put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Learn how the world works. Don't rely on technology, because I'll tell you right now, I can go 20 minutes north of here and I don't have service. So it's not always going to be there. And you have to be yourself. Don't try to be something you're not. Be who you are. Be honest. Be truthful.
People know that within 3 seconds, whether you're bullshitting
100%.
them or not. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I have a degree and I would never say it wasn't worth it, because I had a lot of fun and it was definitely worth it. But when it comes to running a business, and I try, again, my small mind, and I think very simply, people buy from and work with people they know, they like, trust, and do what they say they're going to do. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Now go be successful.
Even if your product or your service costs more money,
it doesn't matter.
It's all about the relationship. And if there's no relationship,
a market for everything. 100%. Yeah. When I coach other small business owners, if they're like, oh, should I charge this? I said, there are people out there ready to take your money. They're ready for you. But show up and be you. Generate trust, be authentic, all of those things you just said.
One last thing I want to add.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a gentleman. He's a resource for companies to get, very popular public speakers. So if there's let's just pick a very large company, let's say Nike. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nike's having a corporate event and they want a guest speaker to come in and they want Shaquille O'Neal. Okay. Mm-hmm. This gentleman has resources to get to Shaquille O'Neal, to have him come in and do a 1 to 2 hour talk at this corporate event and then fly away. Now, I picked Nike and Shaquille O'Neal, I guess, for a reason. Now that I think about it, Shaquille O'Neal was with Reebok. He was never with Nike, right? Why in the world would a company hire somebody that's not in their sport or not someone that supported them through commercials and pay $50,000 to $75,000 to listen to this
2
person
hours
for an hour?
Yep.
It's because that person has made it known who they are, what they believe. And when you have relationships, even if you're an introvert, you can sit online and you can go, I agree with what Shaquille O'Neal's doing. He's a good person to me. I don't know him. I would pay money to see him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Think about that. Think about that. It's the same thing with a sale. Yes. These people look at you and go, he's an honest guy. That's an honest girl. They're just who they are. And that's the best compliment I've ever received in my life. Is I had a CEO come up to me and she said, you are Ben Wood through and through. I don't care if you're at home. I don't care if you're at a Christmas party. I don't care if you're talking to a customer. You are who you are and you don't try to impress people. And I said, why would I try to impress? Why would I put on a show? That seems exhausting to me.
Right.
If you don't like me, that's okay. Preach. I'm never going to make everybody happy. But you know what? I'm going to try to be the best I can, and somebody's going to find value in you. And when they do, they're going to go, oh my goodness, you got to meet this person. They're going to tell the whole world. Now we got Twitter and so, whatever. Snapchat and all these other things. I mean, it's going to look at Oliver Anthony.
That was excited. A great endpoint. No, that was a great endpoint. That is so true. Brand messaging, personality, all of it. Just through and through. You're selling
yourself every day, regardless of what industry you're in. Every time you talk to somebody or meet virtually like this, you are selling yourself. You're not selling a name. Mm-hmm. If you're rude, but yet you work for the best company in the world for whatever product, and you're rude, people are going to be like, nope. No. But maybe you are a rude person and that's what you want to be in life. Well, then go be that person. Don't be fake. Be who you are.
Right. Just be who you are.
Best of luck to you. Somebody out there will buy from you. They will.
For sure.
100%. You're just in the wrong market. Go somewhere else and do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Ben. This has been, absolutely, as the kids say, lit.
Lit?
L-I-T. Oh yeah, that's right. You're not really online. Lit. Spicy.
When I remember it,
truth
back
bombs.
in the day, it was dope. That was dope.
Dope. I say that too. And then
rad.
My boyfriend's 17-year-old daughter kind of rolls her eyes at me when I say that. She's like, people don't say that anymore. Hey, wow. I'm barely on TikTok, so calm down.
When I get on there, I'll be sure to follow you or whatever. But to this day, no social media for me. I have a Facebook account I share with my wife, but that's it.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Ben. It was great to see you. Thanks for making time. And I'm so happy I could be your first podcast experience. Hopefully this is the first of many, because I believe you have a great message to share with people.
Well, I appreciate that, Chelsea. And this was fun. I was nervous going in, but now I don't want to stop. I think you should just stay where you are for one more day and let's keep talking. No, I'm kidding.
I love it.
It was a great opportunity and I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben.
You bet.
Thank you for listening. If you have a couple of moments, please leave a review on this podcast. This helps us create more impactful content for you and continue to meet you where you are. And if you have another 30 seconds to spare, I'd love to see you on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We post weekly content there for you to take advantage of and start implementing into your business's routine and grow your business even further. If you'd like to watch the video version of this podcast, you can visit our YouTube channel. All of the links to these social channels are listed below in the show notes. And remember, work smarter, not harder.